This is Malcolm. Um, the last Factorio video netted like more than 50 views on YouTube, so I figured I should probably play another hour of YouTube, or sorry, of Factorio, and see if it's a pattern or just a fluke. So um, I can't exactly remember what my last priorities were, but I'm pretty sure I can figure it out. And let's just get to it. All right, so it's Switch A4. Yeah. Okay. Uh, First, I note that the research here has finished, so I'm going to see what else is to do. Okay, so it looks like we finished all the red science research, and now we have to make green science in order to make further progress with research. So that's one thing. Um, the other thing is clearly um, not all of these assemblers are stamped down with designs, so I'm just going to do a stamping down of the blueprint to make sure that everything's up to date as far as the research goes. So I need to rotate it and then make it match and then click it. All right, so it looks like no real change there. So let's look at making green science. Okay, so green science is one transport belt and one inserter. So if I look at that, actually, let's just look at it in the crafting. So a transport belt is iron and gear wheels, and an inserter is iron gear wheels and green circuit. So I think I have, yeah, so I have iron and green circuits right here, which means I should be able to tunnel under and bring them out. Maybe I shouldn't do that. I should tunnel under and maybe bring them up this way. Yeah, I think that would work. And then the gear wheels we can make. I think I discussed this last time, which is that Catherine of Sky says since gear wheels are not space efficient, they take up twice as much space as iron plates. Um, it's a better choice to make them locally with the iron that you have. So I'm going to do that. And then, so I'll do that up here. There's a little bit of space. It should be enough. And then I'll bring it over probably to a conveyor belt that runs this way or something. The other thing that I was going to do, and let me do that now since I have the labs on me, is I'm going to complete this loop. It will sort of help as far as efficiency goes. I only have two. Oh yeah, I need more. I need more inserters. So let's get some more inserters. Yeah. There is a point at which you don't have to keep restocking yourself. It's when we have the full robots and not just the early start construction robots. Um, but when we get logistics robots, those robots can actually help you stay stocked, which is kind of convenient, very convenient, actually. Um, okay, so let's think. All right, and then it doesn't, we'll need to test this later, but I'm pretty sure that this inserter can take from a downward going underground belt. Um, Not entirely sure, but pretty sure because you can see a lot of stuff is going here. In fact, it's not this one. thought it was, but the blue one can't reach. So anyway, we'll have a look, but I'm pretty sure it's fine. It doesn't matter right now anyway because we don't have that blueprint. Just built unnecessary underground. Oop, there's me and my twitchiness. Okay, there we go. All right, bring it out here. Okay, so how am I going to do this? I think I will do. I'm trying to figure out if I want to just run it all from the same belt or if I want to split. I think I want to split because the thing about splitting is that it balances the resources. If I just run it all from the same belt, the stuff that's upstream will take priority. Um, and that doesn't help me if the stuff from upstream is aggressively taking priority. If I do belt, I mean a splitter, then 50-50 for each path. Um, but I think what I will do, let's see here, I think, yeah, if green science is just the two things. All right, so that one and that one, yeah. So I'm going to actually have green science be in between the two assemblers for for the components. So this one will be, let's see, how am I doing this? Um, I feel like I've now argued myself into a situation, but let's see what we've got here. Want to do that? No, I don't think I want to do that. I think that I do want to, yeah, okay, so we'll do, so this will be gears, and this will be belts. So that needs more supplies. So the gears, belt, gears. Okay. And then the belts will go this way to the green science. Okay. And then the other belt will feed the inserter making assembly machine. And that also needs, I think, well, let's make sure the spacing. So that's the inserter assembly and that's the gears. And I have these little notifications here. I'm just gonna hover over the things that are new so the notifications go away on the tabs. Okay, so the inserter uh, assembly machine also needs access to iron, so that will work there. This thing's in the way, but we can just route around it. Okay, so let's put power on this and make sure things are working as expected. Put it here. And see if this, yep, this one has what it needs. So that is working as expected. So let's, yeah, we got to do it there. And then let's do this. Let's balance that. And then if I just go like that, it will automatically do the underground belt. And then that'll do for now. It's a little ugly. Normally I would actually combine the green and the red belts so that one half was red and one half was green, but it doesn't really matter here. Okay, so since there's not enough green to fill all 10 machines, it's braiding around. I'm actually going to let it, yeah, I'm going to let it build up a little bit. So the bottleneck here is the one green science assembler. What I probably should be doing instead is putting the inserter and um, transport belt on the same belt, and then running the belt up and having a bunch of assembly machines that make green science. Because the thing is, let's see here. Yeah, green science takes 8.7 seconds per unit, whereas red takes 5.5 seconds per unit. um, so if I like want one a second, I should have 9 of these instead of the one that I have. So right now I have one every 9 seconds or so. Um, which is a little slow. Yeah, let's do that. Let's refactor. All right. So I'm gonna leave this here. But what I want to do is, let's see here, use long-handed inserters instead. So if we do long-handed, then we can have both of them hit the same central belt. And that belt will be here. And you can see that's a lot better. So then I have to go around this thing, which is silly. I go around it. Okay, so then you can see there's a lot more going on here, right? So let's now do get right back up again so that we don't, whatever power situation is happening, we don't lose it, right? Um, 3, 4, 5, 6. I'm out. Okay. We'll do 6 for now and we'll come back and we'll put some more in. Okay, so this is green science. Then I do shift right click and then shift left click. And I can do it on both sides actually, which is I think what I'll do because that will be more efficient space-wise. So I'll do that. All right, so that means I got to get rid of this. We'll do that. Okay. So let's get some more assembly machine. There should be a stack of 50, or are we not making them? Oh, no. Here they are. 50. Yep. Okay. So that's what, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. That'll be fine. We'll have more than we can't do one here because there's a thing in the way. So it'll be 11. Again, we're gonna hook this up so we don't lose anything. And shift left click. Okay. And then just inserters, right? Some power issues, but we'll sort those out in a minute. I'm using too many inserters. I pretty much only need one inserter, but I may as well use two since I can spare them, and it will make it a little bit more efficient to load the assembly machines. I think it's probably a wash. It probably doesn't actually matter that much, but it's probably just superstition on my part. I'm only going to use one for output because I only ever get one at a time, at least with assembly machine ones. Okay, and then let's just do the power this way. Later on, we'll have power poles that have better coverage, but this is what we got for now. Okay, and then we need to collect it with more. Ooh, how about this? This is kind of silly, but we don't actually need it any other way. So we'll loop around instead of, normally I sort of do a Y thing and collect them up in the center, but here, um, I think what we'll do is we'll take the opportunity up here to balance, or actually, it would almost make sense to not balance, but to actually load on the other side, since there are more machines on this side than on the other side. Let's see, how do we figure that out? So if we do that, I think the I think it's yeah, I think the pattern that I usually use is like this. So if I do that and then I use another inserter, it will put the green on the other side. And then these will load on this side, and then we can do a balance, which will be more efficient. I guess it doesn't really matter that much. Let's do it because we can, because right thing to do. There we go. Okay. So now we're building quite a bit more green science, which is good. Probably overkill given that we're not making that much red science, but this will fill up quickly and then we don't have to worry about it, right? So now we can continue with green and red science research. So it's opened up a world of possibilities all the way up to mining productivity 1 and includes all the oil processing and the plastics. It does not, it does give us solar power, which is good. Um, because it's more ecologically friendly, but it does take up a lot of space. Um, and we might want to consider, I think it's probably time now to start laying out radar in earnest and figuring out where the perimeter of the base is. So we'll let the research cook away and as we do that, we'll start setting up radar, tweaking power, and figuring out where we want the perimeter of the base to be, the outer perimeter. So that sounds like the right call. So right now, you can see the two radar we have almost filled out the greater rectangle. So they're almost done scanning what they need to scan. And you can see the last time we looked, we could only see the edge of this field and the edge of this field, and we didn't even know this field existed. So it's definitely making some progress, but I'm going to build out the radar a lot. And I just need to keep an eye on my power utilization because radar uses up a lot of power. and there's room up here to increase the power generation. So that will also help us as we build radar, watch the power utilization. We can check out the power and increase it if we have to. All right, so I have 13 radar, which is plenty to start with. I probably will have a need for, yeah, we're already at half. So actually let's upgrade the power on this one power run as far as we can, and then um, put down more radar. So the power ratios, I think I said before, was 20 boilers to 40 steam engines to one offshore pump. Yeah. So this one, we can do 6 more on either side of the boilers and 12 more of the steam engines. So we'll do that. Um, and I think I'm going to actually use a deconstructor like that I configure, which is trees and rocks only, to help clear the way so I'm not messing around with having to mine rocks or get rid of tree stumps on the way as I build this. So, and we'll actually put that here for now. Um, so that lets me, I can sort of just make sure there's just a few things in the way. Yeah, not much. But that means that I don't have to worry about it. Okay, so let's do the 6. And doing every 3 or a 3 block space between them. I don't have to do this since I have the mod that lets me sneak through tiny gaps. I don't actually have to have underground belts between this to be able to walk through like this way horizontally through here, but I like to do the right design anyway if I can. So I could be more space efficient, is what I'm saying. All right, so that's 6. And I can actually do, I think I might need more underground pipes soon. The other thing I could do, and maybe I should actually, yeah, let's actually use the construction robots for this. So let's take this, take each one of these units, right? Maybe 2 units at a time? Do 2 units at a time. All right, so we'll do that and that and that. Perfect. Somehow, oh, the power pole got in the way of that inserter. All right, so those worked, and we'll actually do the same here. It's just the copy function. And the copy function is not a bad idea when you're doing these one-offs. But one of the things that I should consider doing is actually making a, a blueprint of the whole power station, or the whole 20 boiler and 40 steam engine power station. Um, and I actually don't need that, and I don't need that. But you can see that I've run out of materials because there are ghosted things here. So I need to go back and restock my steam engines and my underground belts. Got enough boilers. Underground pipes, I mean, not underground builds. All right, let's go back. You can see the other thing that's going on down here is that I've run out of green circuits, or I haven't really run out. They're just super slow because they're not being generated by much within the factory. So my green research is sort of petering out because there's not enough inserters. But I think it'll be okay. Like if we essentially bottom out the green circuits, we can refill those later or even now by bolstering them. I'm not sure if we can do it within the factory because I think there's not enough room. Let's see, where's it created over here? Um, no, I think we could do it because it's loading it on this north side of this conveyor, which means we could easily create um, more green circuitry and feed it the right stuff. Um, I don't know, we'll think about it. The copper is going down here. Yeah, we could bring the copper out this way and the iron out this way, and we could make it happen. So we maybe we'll do that. I'm not sure. We'll see. But let's finish the power first and keep going with the research. The other possibility is harvesting other resource patches to make the additional green circuits happen so that we don't sort of bottom out what's going on inside the factory, the mall. All right, so we finished creating the power. Now we're back to about 15% instead of 50%. So let us now do some radar. So I just want to sort of, I'm going to use the map to figure out where the radar unit is. It is, there it is. And I finished military too already, so we'll just do that. Military science pack, that's good to know. That requires a bunch of stuff, piercing rounds magazine, grenade, and wall. So we'll probably create that later. I don't think it's a big deal right now. We have the basic turrets. Um, and we don't need the laser turret because we don't have the power for it yet. Although we could do the flamethrower, but that requires a lot of oil processing. Yeah, I don't think I think we can get by with what we have for now. So let's again do the radar thing. All right, so the radar's here. I'm going to click one. Let's try to sort of keep it on the same line. And now I'm watching the mini map and I'm looking at that sort of light blue with dark blue ring around it. And I want the dark blue ring to be, um, okay, got the dark going here. Um, the dark blue has not yet formed, which means I'm not quite, there we go. So I want to do it right on top of this tree. So let's, click. All right, and then power. So I need to drag the power back with me and hook it up to the main power we already have set up near the factory. And one more. And then if we look at the map and we zoom out, we can see that the radar now covers the L shape. And I'm going to put one in over here and we'll make it a square again. The more radar we have, the faster the scanning happens around the lighter part. So that helps too, although it depends on like sort of overlap and coverage, as you'll see, but it does help. And like before, I've now added another part of the map that I can zoom all the way into and see what is going on directly rather than having to go with just this kind of knowledge. Okay, so I'm actually going to go to the right and hit the other radar and go south from it. And assembly machine 2 is nice. There we go. So it's not all that precise as far as the placements, since it's how those radars hit the map, not the direct visibility of the terrain. So sometimes I'm off by a few blocks, north or south or east or west, but it doesn't actually matter with respect to the mapping. Because we've been careful to set it out so that the whole there's no gaps between the radars. So that's the nice beginning. And then I think what I'll do is build one here, one approximately here is probably going to be more like here. One probably here, and another one up here because I want to do approximate a 3x3 with the starting radar. And actually, let's just check the power usage. Yeah, it's about what, 20%, 15%. So that's fine. Okay, so I will do, I guess I'll just go west from the existing two radars, or yeah, two radars on this line. So here. Perfect. Could be better. All right. Okay, perfect. Okay. Another one from the southern one. We'll walk down to the southern one and we'll actually update the research. So landfill is nice because then we can actually fill in water to make placement of things easier and not have to place things around ponds, but actually just fill them up and place things on top. And I'm lost. Um, What am I doing? Let's look at the map. This one. Yes. It actually changes the sound of my footsteps as I get on different terrain. I'm going to go north with the power. Getting quite dense over here. So I'm making sure that the power line remains intact. And you can see I'm over just a few blocks. Okay. So now we have 3 by 2. So now we're going to go up. I'm going to go up from the middle, I think. Let's do the middle first. It really depends on what your goal is, but if I go up from the middle, then I can try to stay a little square. I'm also trying to avoid uh, power lines. So if I look at the power lines, you can see that it actually draws lines. I'm trying to avoid particular symbols with the power lines because I think it's um, gauche and impolite, even if it's accidental. All right, so it's looking like this body of water will totally be in the way. So I'm just going to go around it because I want to be up in this area where I put the next radar. So then if I, so the problem though is, you know what? I should do one of the edges. So let's do the east edge first. No, stop dragging that for now. Find the east radar up from it. Have to wait just a couple seconds for it to show up on the mini map when you transition between the chunks. And Phil's done. Those power lines. All right. Yeah. All right. So that means that the center one is just going to fall short because it's about here and it will go up to here and it just won't be as high northwise as this one. So that's fine. It just won't be, it'll be kind of a divot up here. That'll be fine. However, we do have to go around this limb of the lake. So we'll go around it and we'll start the next research. um, Steel furnaces are more efficient than stone furnaces. But they have the same size. They're 2 by 2, I think. Whereas electric furnaces are 3 by 3. So um, when we get the steel furnace, we can just replace 1-to-1 with an upgrade planner. But when we get the electric furnaces and we have enough power to support them, um, we have to redesign our blueprints because they take up more physical space. The other thing that I was thinking about doing is exploring some of the really popular mods, and I'll do that later with possibly this game, but more likely a new game. But like I was thinking of Factorissimo, which actually allows you to build warehouses that have a relatively small physical size, but can hold large factories. Um, and then they have sort of inputs and outputs, and you can even nest them. It's good for a space efficient space. But that also concentrates pollution, so it's sort of pluses and minuses. Um, and then there's also, and I've never played with these, but there are mods called like Angel's Mod and Bob's Mod, and they actually make the game more complicated by switching up the um, research and technology trees and adding more resources and more complicated dynamics, which I may also explore with you. I'm not sure. Oop. Oh, I hate that. The OCD. Although I don't know. I mean, have a mild OCD sometimes, but not a big blown Hollywood style OCD. I do dislike certain kinds of disorder, though. I do sometimes just not enjoy it. Okay. Again with the, all right, so we're around 20% still. That's good. Um, and you can see, like I said, there's just like this divot because the radar can't be north enough to complete the grid because of the water. If I wanted, I could use landfill to create a land bridge and stick the radar in the right place, but I'm not that obsessive. Um, and the next one over here will be even a little bit lower, but I'm going to do it anyway so that we can bring the power station out of the gray. Because right now I can zoom into only part of the power station. So let's do that one. Um, I think we can just bring this over to the edge if we can. Not sure if we can. Yeah, we can. All right. So we'll at least have that part dealt with, but it just can't be as north as we would like it to be. Take the power away. We know there's power nearby with the power station. Someday I'm going to have to clean this up. And the reason I say that is because as we explore new power technologies, it's good to isolate the power stations and only have them online when you need them to supplement your primary power generation. So, for instance, if I switch over to solar, I only want to run the steam engine, power engine, or power factory when the solar and the batteries fall short of what I need. And we can do that with the circuits, which I think we're about to research, um, and do something called an RS latch, um, which turns on power at a certain lower threshold and stays on until you reach a certain high threshold. So, like, I might set my RS latch to turn on at like 20% charge on the accumulators, and then keep going until the charge on the accumulators hits 80%. And then by that time, we hope the solar is taken over and will recharge the accumulators. The accumulators and solar are sort of required to happen together because otherwise, if you just deploy solar, then you only have solar power during the day. If you have accumulators, they're like big batteries or big capacitors, um, and they provide power overnight when the solar panels don't work. So we'll talk about that more later. There's also nuclear, um, which is later. There's actually a power, and there's actually a uranium ore patch here, but it requires a great deal of processing to get to nuclear fuel, and then you have to handle waste, and it's complicated. So we're going to wait on that until after we have logistics robots, which is going to be well into the blue science, because this robotics is the first, and then construction robots is what I have in the early start, but I'll be able to build more. And then logistics robots will help transport things from here to there. Um, with the best, including these logistic system chests. So that even takes yellow science, which takes even more effort to get to. So there's quite a bit to go to before we start doing nuclear power. But solar is within our reach because we can actually research solar energy now, um, and then we can research accumulators later, after we get batteries. So batteries come right after sulfur processing, and as soon as we get batteries, we can get accumulators, um, and that will allow us to start making solar, which will be nice because that will reduce our pollution. Okay, what are we doing? All right, so we have radar in a 3x3-ish block, but it does allow us to see everything on the map, including where our radar is. So the extents of our base that is built is covered with radar, and we probably can and should make more radar so that we can go out to the point where we can see the native wildlife, the ones that will come and want to destroy our base. I don't know if I want to do a 5x5. I actually kind of want to let the radar cook and see what it looks like at the extent of what we can map right now. Um, so let's actually go back to the factory and restamp and see if it will be the mall, see if it will be making anything more on top of what it's already making. It might. I can't remember if I researched anything that physically. Yeah, actually, I did. I researched the power poles, so at least we can have the early mall work on that. Okay, so now we have. Oh, it's making grenades. Those are helpful. Um, steel furnaces, assembly machine twos. Um, the steel uh, big electric pole and medium, I think. Yeah, medium. So good. It's gonna start bottoming out the incoming resources again, which is fine. We just need to give it a little time to cook. If I look at the map again and turn on pollution, you can see that the pollution is ranging much further than our radar, and it's possible that it will start touching native life form bases. So that's why I think it's probably best to let things cook and not spread out our pollution generating footprint anymore right now. Um, I usually try to build the perimeter within 50 or 100 blocks of native life form bases. So I do want the visibility before I continue the building or before I start figuring out where to put the perimeter walls. That said, like if we had some native wildlife here, I would probably put part of our perimeter like right here between the two bodies of water because the native life does not go into the water. Um, so the water is a natural barrier, um, which is also another reason not to fill everything in with landfill. If you have natural barriers, use them. And actually, that's why this part of the land is quite useful because it's naturally defended against any native wildlife incursions because they can't handle the water, they can't cross it. I'm actually wondering if the game will ever include flying um, native wildlife, because that would, of course, defeat the water barrier, but it might cause a great deal of outcry. There are people been working on their particular Factorio save games for thousands of hours, and having to refactor them for flying incursions might send them over the edge, depending on how large and complex Factory is. Although, to be fair, I don't know how many others do this, but I certainly, when I start expanding my base um, significantly, I actually put um, integrated laser defense on pretty much everything that I build, so that if I do invoke an incursion of biters or native wildlife, um, that the things that I've placed can defend themselves. So then it's really a matter of managing the power. Speaking of which, we'll just double check the power again. Where am I? I can't even see where I'm standing. I'm in the center of here I am. I'm in the center. Um, but where are the power cables? Here's one. All right, so I'm still down 20%. So I should just let things cook like I was doing. Um, but one of the things that I can think about doing is starting to replace um, power lines. Um, it's not a big deal. I might I might not do that right away. I might not do that for the existing power lines. It's not like they're any particularly any worse. I think they're a little bit weaker to biter attacks to have the wood ones. Um, but it doesn't really matter if the biters are close enough to be messing with your factories. You have bigger problems than what your power poles are made out of. Um, but I definitely want to start using the more modern power poles for new building. And the reason here, let me show you. The reason is so take all. Oh, we'll just take all. Okay, so the reason is I can use fewer poles essentially. So if I let's use the big electric pole. So if I do the big electric pole connects two spaces beyond the boundary for the wood pole, right? But now look at how long I can run this. It runs to that without having to put anything else down, which is awesome. And there are parts of the robo logistic network that you require robo ports every few, well, it's actually this plus two on steel on either side. So the robo ports have to be the one here and one there, as far as having them be spaced so that their coverage is seamless. So uh, that's why I want to start using the modern power, because it's less resource intensive overall and takes up less space. So with that big a gap, you can put lots of stuff in between, which helps a great deal. So we'll do that too. um, Assembly machine 2s are faster. Crafting speed 0.75. Versus, where's ours? Are we not carrying? Okay. Crafting speed 0.5. So they are 50% faster. And so one of the things I might want to do is just um, replacing, and you can just drop it right on top, replace the assembly machine 1s with assembly machine 2s. For all the things that are being built. And the blueprint will not replace stuff that I've already built. So I can upgrade in place. When I stamp the blueprint down, it will not mess with, it won't replace the assembly machine 2s with assembly machine 1s because they're already built. So I don't have to worry about that, even if I stamp down the blueprint to refresh things. And then the other thing that I could do is I could potentially stamp down or replace the stone furnaces with steel. So let's actually do that too. And when I've actually finished doing that, then I can upgrade the blueprint itself. See, no change in footprint. They do look different. They don't actually change the design of the factory. I'm out. So now you can see that I have a bunch of stone furnaces because I replaced them, right? I only got 7 more furnaces, but that's enough. Well, I don't know if it's enough. Do more changes. So the steel furnaces are, um, again, use them all up. Crafting speed 2 versus crafting speed 1. So the steel furnaces are twice as fast as the stone furnaces, which is good news for my production line. Um, and bad news for my iron supplies. You can see I actually need more iron, raw iron, in order to keep up. So actually, let's build some more of that. Um, we'll do this. Not quite correct, but it'll do. I'll just refill. And it didn't build this one because there's nothing for it to drill. So you need to get more drills from the factory, and I need to hook these up because they don't quite reach. So that works, that helps. And then we'll get more drills. Lots of drills. Oh, and then this one, see, it's starting to do copper, so that's bad. This one also is doing copper, so we don't want those. And I'm going to pick those up off the belt. Okay, so that's fine. This one's, there's only 71. So this will stop working soon, because now there's only 68. And as soon as it's out, this will stop working and I can remove it and remove the belts just for extra efficiency. But now we have better flow of the iron ore. It's still not completely full, but it will help. It helps feed the steel furnaces, which helps solidify the belt and fill it with more iron plate, which helps everything build better and faster. And I can do the same with the copper. I don't know if I have enough steel furnaces, but let's see. I don't think that's enough. It might be. Oh, it is. Okay. So that helps with the copper ore. Um, I've got all the steel furnaces I need. I don't have all the assembly 2 machines that I want. But let's see if we can finish that up too, because I think that, yeah, there's stuff down here I haven't upgraded. There it is. So let's upgrade the blueprint for these changes. So it's just sort of consistent. Those are already blue. Yeah, those are already blue. And I don't need to replace those quite yet, but I can. Actually, let's do it. Um, Maybe this one. Nope, that one's already done. That one's already done. You can tell because it's red. Red means it wouldn't do anything to replace it, essentially. Green means you can do it. Just double checking everything. Yeah. that looks right. So I'm actually going to upgrade the blueprint. Let's go to the next research. All right, so to upgrade the blueprint, I need an upgrade planner that does the changes I want. So what I did was I replaced the stone furnaces with steel ones and the assembly machine ones with assembly machine twos. I can reuse this one because it already did that replacement. I don't have to worry about it. So let's do um, stone furnaces with steel and assembly machine ones with assembly machine twos. So now it does all three of those upgrades. And so if I look at right click on the blueprint I want to upgrade and then click the green upgrade items and entries in this blueprint and then select the upgrade planner that I just configured, it updates everything in the blueprint, including the assembly machines, even though some of them are not yet. I don't have the technology unlocked. It still did it. So that helps me maintain consistency as I keep stamping down the blueprint. It doesn't really matter. Like I said, it wouldn't like replace things, like new things with old things, but I just like to keep things in sync. Um, so yeah, right now it's all about letting the radar do its work, and the radar is still working. You can see the profile of the outer box does not really match the profile of the inner box. So that means the radar is still working. And the other sign of it is you can see different chunks being mapped out real time, lighting up and being mapped out. So yeah, that's still working. And then the factory is still working. The research is still happening, and my power situation is around 30%, which is a little higher than I ideally want it, but it's okay. The next steps would be to probably build more power um, and let the factory and the radar grind a bit more, looking for where the biters are and figuring out where to put the perimeter wall with turret defenses. So those are the next steps. I hope you've enjoyed yourself. I've enjoyed myself. I like playing this game. I like talking about it while I play it. That's what I like about streaming. Um, I hope that you have a good time. I hope that you and your family take care of each other. And if you like and subscribe to this channel on YouTube. Follow me on Twitch. Um, Subscribe to me on the PeerTube instances. Um, I'm always happy to have more followers. It's nice to see activity like I did on the last Factorio video of having just a lot of viewers, but it's also cool to have likes, and it's cool to have subscribers and followers. It's just nice to know that people are enjoying stuff. So take care of yourself and take care of the people you know, and I will see you again. Have a good one.